So there's been this rise over the past several decades in the diagnosis of autism. The ability to diagnose autism has improved. Kids that at one time would have just been considered weird are now taken to doctors and diagnosed as autistic and treated appropriately. That's a good thing. Kids who at one time would have just been considered stupid, but now they're diagnosed with autism and they're treated appropriately. It's a good thing. Unfortunately, as the diagnosis of autism has increased, due to an improvement in understanding and awareness of autism, there may also be other factors increasing the prevalence of autism itself. There could be a higher percentage of children developing autism now, and we just don't know. It's impossible to compare what percentage of children have autism and are diagnosed now with the number of children that had autism in the past and just weren't diagnosed with it. So it's possible there has been an increase in autism, and we just don't know. There's a growing fear that one of the causes of autism, some people think the only cause of autism, is vaccination. There is a growing anti-vaccination movement. Parents who are unwilling to allow their children to be vaccinated before going to school. This wouldn't be a big deal if it were a small number of children. If just a few individuals within a population are unprotected against a particular communicable disease, that's not really that big of a problem. As long as almost everyone else in the population is, if one child has not had, for instance, a vaccination against measles, but that child never comes in contact with anyone else who hasn't had a vaccination against measles, and therefore never comes in contact with anybody who has measles, it's not a problem for that child. But as this movement grows, and more children are not vaccinated against easily preventable diseases, we're going to have a resurgence of these diseases. People my age don't understand how serious that is. Pardon me. I, for instance, in my mid-30s, I have never seen someone with measles. I have never seen someone with polio. I have never seen someone with scarlet fever. These conditions are largely eradicated from the American population by vaccination. 50 years ago, that wasn't the case. They were major problems. Children were paralyzed, they died. It was horrific. Now it's not. So even if vaccinations are causing autism, it's still a dangerous thing to not vaccinate children. The prevalence of autism in society is not as serious as the prevalence of these communicable diseases would be if we're not protecting children. Now, this fear is not crazy. It may be overblown, but it's not crazy, especially in a population that has never really seen massive scale communicable diseases among children. But people who are afraid to vaccinate their kids, people who fear that their children will get autism or some other disease from a vaccination, need to also think about this. Yes, there are risks to vaccination, but if you have ever taken your child anywhere by automobile, you've risked your child's life. You have put your child in a vehicle and driven them down the street, recognizing that you may have a car accident and your child may die in it. If you've walked them down the sidewalk, you've recognized car may jump the curb. If you own a dog and a child, you recognize, even if you think it's highly unlikely, you have to recognize that your dog could go crazy and attack your child. People need to vaccinate their children. Now, I'm including this discussion of vaccination in the conspiracy theory category, because even though in some cases it's not a conspiracy theory, some people out there are afraid to vaccinate their children, and they're really just concerned that autism or other neurological conditions may be sort of an unintended consequence of vaccination. There are also people like radio commentator Alex Jones and his followers who believe that the government and the medical establishment are conspiring together to give your kids autism. And thanks for watching, And I hope you will like and share and come back and watch other videos. Bye.